We're here at historic Locust Grove in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've got Amy Liebert. And what are we cooking today?
All right, so today we are going to be cooking a very simple recipe, one of my favorite recipes, and that is peas porridge.
Peas porridge, and this is out of?
Why, this is out of one of my favorite cookbooks, Primitive Cookery, or the Kitchen Garden Displayed, which I got from Townsends.
Yeah. So, this one seems pretty simple, probably. How do we get started with it?
Well, this recipe is very simple. We start with a quart of green peas, which we have.
Right.
We will put them in this pot with a quart of water, a bundle of dried mint, which we have there, and a little salt.
Okay, so we're not going to make the whole batch, right?
We could probably do about half.
But the important part here is the ratio.
Yeah, 2 to 1, or 1 to 1.
And this recipe, it doesn't actually say exactly what kind of peas. We have to interpret this recipe. There are multiple green peas recipes. I thought that was kind of funny. This thing's got, what, 5, 6 recipes for peas porridge. This is just one of the simple ones. We have to read into it what kind of peas to use because of the way it's cooked. We're going to use split peas, or you could use whole dried green peas. We're going to do a half size one. There is a pint of peas. And you got about a pint of water?
We did a 1-1, so we just measured out the same amount.
And what else needs to go in here?
We are going to use a little salt.
A little salt and
our bundle of dried mint that came from our garden here at Locust Grove.
Dried mint, yes, definitely. And we just toss this in.
Toss it in.
Okay.
We should really put a little twine on that if we were being really careful, and then we could fish it out.
Yeah, we got the big long stem.
Well, the thing is, if a little bit of dried mint ends up in your porridge, we put dried mint in all kinds of soups and things today.
Exactly.
So it's going to work out very well.
But they would put the bundle in there if they wouldn't want twigs in there.
No.
But this is easy to come out. Okay, so this just goes over the fire.
We're going to let that boil till the peas are quite tender, and then we will add the rest of our ingredients.
Okay. So these peas have been on how long?
Oh, what was that, about 20 minutes? Half hour?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Looks like they're ready to come off.
Pull this forward, bring it up here.
Good.
All right. Let's see.
So we take out the mint, right?
We're going to take out that mint.
Right.
All right. We are going to put in a piece of butter the size of a walnut, right about here, that we've rolled in flour.
Right. And you'll see that happen in a lot of different recipes where they want this certain amount of flour, not too much. It's very similar to a roux that we might do today, but it's a real quick and simple way to get just the right amount of butter.
Yeah, and it's adding as a thickening agent as well.
Flour, yeah. Yep.
All right, so we're going to put that in with some beaten pepper.
So good. We're using ground pepper.
Absolutely.
I like pepper. You can, that's good.
Add a little more.
Yeah, just for me.
Hey, you're going to be the one eating it, so make it to taste. And we can see our butter is already melting in there. And then we're going to, you can see most of the liquids come out of here.
And how much butter or how much milk do we want here?
It is a 2 to 1 ratio.
Right. So is there a quart
half
here?
Of that.
About
that was 2 quarts, and we're doing a half.
And we can adjust this.
Exactly.
It's our food. We get to do whatever we want. It doesn't matter what the recipe says.
And we were talking about this while it was cooking. I've never had to think about it this much. I make this out here. I add a little water if it needs some water.
Yeah, but it was just like cooking in the day. They adjusted these things as they needed to. Maybe their peas absorbed more water. Maybe they didn't. So
exactly.
Right.
That's why so many of these recipes say cook until done. But this one does specify another 15 minutes with the milk.
Okay, so this goes back on the fire?
It goes back on the fire. We'll thicken up nicely.
So our porridge has been on the fire for what, half an hour?
About half an hour, yeah.
Okay, so let's take it off. That's longer than it called for, but that's okay.
The nice thing about this recipe is that it's so versatile. We did end up boiling it longer or simmering it and adding some more milk, and it's fairly difficult to kill.
Yeah.
And it smells so good.
It does.
And this is really good and sustaining. And it is so simple.
Now, it's green.
It is.
And it might not look all that appetizing, but when she says it smells really good, she's not kidding. It does smell wonderful. And of course, we might add ham to this or something, but well, let's try it out. Wow. Really warm on a nice cold day like today. a wonderful
It's
thing.
wonderful.
And this one is so simple. You can cook this one in camp.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this in the big fancy kitchen here today, but I've done this over a fire. It's so easy, especially when you're doing cooking demonstrations and you're talking to the public and you can't necessarily always be focused on the pot. It's so easy, and people always get such a kick out of it because it's peas porridge, and they've all heard the rhyme about peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold. Now, I don't know about 9 days old, but I can tell you it will keep thickening over the next couple days. If you keep it, it just gets better and better.
Well, and probably by 9 days, you can slice it up and fry it like mush, and it'd be really good. I'm not kidding. No, this has got some
And especially for people who do reenacting, who are looking for simple meals that you can cook in camp, especially half of these are dry ingredients. This really is great, and you can get all the ingredients for this at your local grocery store.
Right, and I imagine that you could do it without, if you only had water.
Oh, yeah.
It would still work out. It would be much plainer.
No, but it would still work.
If you've got salt and pepper, you've got your peas, you've got some water. It's a common provision that soldiers would have.
Absolutely.
On board ship, dried peas, common. Again, it's something that shows up over and over again in the journals and in different sorts of listings of supplies that people would have in the 18th century. And we can find it today, and it's really, really good. So we're at Historic Locust Grove. Amy, tell us about the site.
The site itself began construction in 1792. Normally, we interpret from about 1806 to 1822. For our trades impressions, we usually center around about 1810 to 1820. So you can see the clothes I'm wearing about in that time period right there. You can come for a tour 7 days a week, except in January. The site does close. And if you're interested in seeing demonstrations like this one, call ahead and ask when the next one will be.
Yeah, so if you're in this Louisville area here in Kentucky, wonderful site. Make sure to check it out. We'll make sure to put a link down in the description section so you can find their website. I want to thank you guys for coming along today as we savor the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century.